Okay, next we're going to figure out our interaction effect. And the interaction is a little bit longer formula. I'll type it in here for you, but you'll see once we get a feel for it, it's pretty ready. In a nutshell, we're going to be taking this total column, this x minus gm column, and we're going to be subtracting from it our within variance, our columns variance, our columns deviations, our rows deviations, and our within deviations. And what's left over, that's our interaction effect. So let's go ahead and type the formula. Equals, so first I'll put a bracket because we're going to be squaring everything in the end. And so let's take our x minus gm. And notice we're not taking the squared column, we're just taking the deviation column. From that, we will subtract our x minus m. And from that, we will subtract our m columns minus grand mean. And we'll subtract our m rows minus grand mean. And then we'll square that whole mess. So this is what our formula is going to look like. And so we're going to implement it up here. So let's go ahead, first of all, and get this column, this x minus gm. That's the starting point from which everything is subtracted. Let's subtract our within. Let's add a minus sign, let's subtract our m column. Let's add a minus sign and subtract our gm. All right, and now let's add some parentheses. We should have done that in the first place, but I'm throwing them in here. And now we square that whole mess. Well, actually, I have a separate column for that. So we'll just do that difference here, and then we'll square it here. It's just a good idea I had it all in one step, and I changed it out to put it in two steps here. So here is our first set of calculations for the interaction effect. I'm going to paste in the formula, and you'll see that they're all the same, which might seem weird until you actually do the calculations. This is just as it should be. Now we should be able to, I don't know what that is, I'll get rid of it. You should be able to just copy and paste this. So we'll paste it into B1, we'll paste it into, and we'll paste it into here. So that, let's double check and make sure it all looks good, but it should look good. Yep, that's what it should be. And now our sum of squares for our interaction is, of course, our SS column. And so starting down here in the corner arbitrarily, I guess, let's sum these up. And we can copy and paste this in. There should be no issues. It should all translate well. Oops. But let's just double check and make sure that this last one added the right column. It did. And so we should be in good shape with that. And you can probably guess that our interaction is going to be the sum of all of those sum of squares. And so let's put our interaction sum of squares plus our interaction sum of squares. They won't always be identical like this. So we're just going to go through this manual process instead of multiplying by 4. And so there we go. We have our interaction effect, our DF interaction. You'll recall, I'll write it down here. DF interaction is just the number of cells minus DF rows minus DF columns minus 1. And we discover that our interaction, just like everything else here, is just 1. Let's go ahead and get our MS, taking the and dividing by degrees of freedom like we always do when we're calculating EVAR, that's what the equivalent is. And we should have all of our cells filled in here very nicely. Let's finish up in the last recording.